Hi, I'm morakdais, and welcome back to Let's Play Heretic. I also think I fixed my sound leveling, because for some reason my sound recorder likes to change its settings, and I have no idea why. It just doesn't like me that much. But in the last one I complained about movies, but, you know, in that last episode I have to say that there's a lot of movies that I give, like, huge thumbs up to. And I try to mention them, but I'm just naturally a negative person. And I'm not apologizing for it, not so that. My opinion on movies is the truth. But... alright. Come on, Imps, I want to kill you. But... hello there. No ambushes? No, so... ah! I knew there was an ambush. Like, I don't know, when I don't like a movie, there's usually, like, something with it that I really don't like. And there's a lot of movies that I just adamantly hate that people like a lot. And, you know what, I stand by it, you know? I think that when I watch a movie, like, I don't really like people to hype it up, because 9 times out of 10, the hype is totally not worth it. Like Ong Bak. People were like obsessed around me with Ong Bak for the longest time. So I sat down and watched it finally, and I was really disappointed. I thought it was really crappy. Like, you know, the movie Chocolate had was out, but I hadn't seen it yet. And if I had seen it, it would have been so much better, because Chocolate is, honestly, that's like, it's strange, and it's kind of very off-tone. It's very much like The Host, which I thought The Host was hilarious. That movie was so great. But it was, you know, like The Host. So it has this weird kind of style that's really hard to place. And I don't know, like, sometimes it really works for a movie, and sometimes it just makes it awful. You know, it's like Old Boy. And I understand why so many people are like, you know, like, Old Boy made people kill people. Like, Old Boy's premise is really messed up, but, I mean, again, back to my usual complaint that media doesn't make people crazy. Some people are just crazy. But I know I'm wasting ammo on those guys. But I don't know, it was really good. Another movie which I finally found on DVD, I watched it on Netflix, and the one thing I hate about Netflix is that a lot of DVDs are, like, impossible to find anywhere else. And they're such good movies, but I don't want to keep watching them on Netflix. Mostly because right now my internet connection can barely play it. But, it was a movie called Recycle that's done by Pang Brothers. The Pang Brothers make great movies, which then come to America, and instead of hiring the Pang Brothers to make them, they, you know, make American remakes with Jessica Alba that are terrible. Because I'm pretty sure I've already complained about The Eye before, because I freaking hate that movie. But, the original one was so great, and, you know, for some reason they bring them over to America and they don't end up quite as good. And Recycle feels like one of those movies that I know if it came to America it would just be ruined. Actually, I'm gonna go check something out real quick. I want to see if I can get a Phoenix staff. Really good, strange movie. It kind of dances that fine line between being kind of funny and scary and bizarre. Like, Asian effects in movies, I mean, I shouldn't say it as Asian effects, but most Asian horror films have really bad special effects, but I don't think it's the special effects that so much work in the movie. It's more the way the story plays out and kind of everything around it that makes it really good. No, bad tornado. But I think if it wasn't for the Pang brothers' ability to tell really good stories, I don't think that would have worked at all. What? Jerks. But yeah, Recycle is one of those movies that I absolutely love. The Confluence. But yeah, I found it on DVD. There's another movie that I'm looking for on DVD called The Demon Low, which I really loved. I watched that like 6 times because I just thought for an indie film it was really well done. You know, a lot of times I watch indie films and I'm usually kind of disappointed, but that was one that I thought was just just really well written, and it was like a whimsical comedy, but a very dark comedy, like Brazil and something like that. I mean, a little darker than Brazil, but it was good. Alright, where are you? Grab it, thank you. But I love, like, dark comedy stuff. They, like, I love the Royal Tenenbaums, but I hate Ben Stiller, because Ben Stiller is really, for me, on par with Nicolas Cage. Like, if him and Jack Black, like, Nicolas Cage, Ben Stiller, Jack Black, all got together and made a movie, it would probably be, like, the worst movie ever made in history. Oh, and Will Ferrell. I can't stand Will Ferrell. He was good in Anchorman, but not that good. Like, anyone could have played that role. And I mean, that movie would have been really funny like 40 years ago, and anybody still watched the movie who cared about it. So, I mean, I can't even tell you. Actually, it was probably like a year and a half ago was the last time I watched the news, and it was depressing, so I stopped watching it altogether. I don't know. I watched Sanctuary, and Sanctuary was awesome. Which is not a news show, by the way. And I watched it before on Netflix, but I rewatched it, and I really did appreciate how good that show was. Like, talk about like on Sci-Fi, which I mean I don't know what it is worldwide, but for cable, they have the Sci-Fi, and Sci-Fi often has like really bad movies, like Hydra and. We watched one that was like Blood Monkey and like all these kind of god-awful movies that were on there, and hey, and watching it was kind of weird, but they have these two shows that are together, kind of. I mean, basically one is a rip-off of the other one, and there's Sanctuary, which is awesome. Like, well acted, well taken care of. Like, it's a show that, you know, isn't afraid to kill people. You know, like there's there's a lot more creativity. But then there's like shows like Warehouse 13, and I don't like Warehouse 13 at all. Oh, I don't like it. But Warehouse 13 is like a blatant rip-off of Sanctuary, pretty much, except it's like a little different, but really the differences are tiny. They're minuscule. Except for the fact that Warehouse 13 has a really bland cast of B actors, whereas Warehouse kind of has these like interesting, really dynamic actors and actresses. So, I don't know. Also, well, either way, I recommend Sanctuary. But the other day, you know, usually when there's nothing on TV and I'm just kind of being lazy, I'll like try to find something on TV, and sometimes there'll be like something really great on. And you know, it's like, oh, Star Trek: The Next Generation, yes. And I love watching all those old Star Treks, but the problem is that the other day we went and, since I mentioned Scott Bakula in the last episode, which I probably already said in this episode, and I said how he ruined Star Trek, because I watched that, whatever, Star Trek First Mission, or First Contact, or whatever the hell it's called, and I didn't like it at all. I mean, it was kind of a little more of a nod off to the older Star Treks, but it wasn't great. It was kind of boring. It didn't have any of the cool sci-fi stuff that people like in Star Trek. But then I watched an episode of Star Trek Voyager, and I remember watching like the first 2 seasons of Voyager, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I don't know. Like, a lot of people said like, oh, female captain, I don't like it, but I don't mind her. It's just her voice. Her voice is so like, I don't know. She's like pretty, but her voice is like, I don't know. It just like grates at me. It kind of sounds like some sort of truck stop lady that smoked too many cigarettes. I don't mean to like insult her, but I think that's just the way they like leveled her voice, or they wanted her to speak, which I don't get that at all. I really like. Well, I don't know. I mean, it has some great characters, but it's torch time. Because I see a whole shit ton more enemies down there. Like, Tuvok, he's the man. But I don't know. I could never get into Voyager. I just thought it was like too ridiculous in comparison to some of the other Star Treks. And I'm not like a huge like Trekkie, oh, I must go and do all this, you know. But I don't know. I appreciate watching like old Star Trek reruns. I always thought they were great. And I don't know, it's something always like good to watch idly on TV. But as for anything, Voyager was just really unappealing, and most of the episodes are actually really bland. They're really like soap opera-y. Like, I'd have to say, like, I mean, Deep Space Nine I liked. I know a lot of people hated it, but I thought like the way the captain was, and like the reason why he was such an ass sometimes. I mean, he ran like a crazy station, so it doesn't surprise me. Oh, ouch. So, I don't even know why I'm killing these guys. I think I just want to kill some. But, I don't know. I always thought Voyager was kind of like the death of modern Star Treks. I mean, I know a lot of people who really like Star Trek Voyager, but then again, I also know people who really liked Lost. And also people that thought the Halo movies were deep. Oh, die. I always kind of wonder how shows like Lost and stuff like that would be taken in like another country. Like, what do, you know, German people or Australian people or, you know, people from other countries really feel about it? Because in America people were like rabid about it, but I never really understood it. I thought the show was kind of boring. But, I don't know.